creating cultural awareness and understanding. This is Culture Clique. Culture Clique is written and produced by KQAL FM on the campus of Winona State University.
Vincent van Gogh once said, "I know nothing with any certainty, but the sight of stars makes me dream." And I would have to agree with Van Gogh. I'd also like to add, people of Earth, look up! The night sky is a treasure that we can all enjoy, as long as you can get out of the city lights. And today on Culture Clique, Professor Jennifer Anderson tells us how we can do just that this weekend. Jennifer is leading an event called Astronomy in the Parks this Saturday evening in Merrick State Park near Fountain City, Wisconsin. The event kicks off at 7 p.m., but feel free to come early as Jennifer has some fun facts and activities involving the sun as it sets as well. I'm Bill Stoneberg asking you to look up as we talk stars and the night sky with Professor Jennifer Anderson today on Culture Clique. I'm here with Jennifer Anderson. She is professor of geoscience here at Winona State University, and today we're going to talk about astronomy in the parks. And there's an event going on this Saturday in Merrick State Park over near Fountain City. Welcome to the show, Jennifer.
Thanks. It's good to be here.
Yeah. Good to see you again. Like we were talking a little before the mics got turned on, classes just started this week, so
indeed
it has been kind of hectic here on campus.
Yes.
So really, a night out in a state park sounds really good right now. That sounds peaceful.
It's going to be great. It's always fun to take some telescopes out to some really dark skies. Mm-hmm. And Merrick has some really wonderful dark skies. So hopefully we'll hope for a clear night on Saturday, and I'll have a couple telescopes and
cool.
We'll look at constellations, and it should be a good time.
Right.
It's really lovely.
Well, I suppose we should tell people the times and stuff. So it's at Merrick State Park. Mm-hmm. Sun sets at around 8 right now. So when should people show up?
Well, it officially starts at 7 p.m. That's when their evening events start at Merrick. So I'm actually going to bring some solar scopes and some sun filters out so we can kind of check out the sun. There's some nice sunspots on the sun right now, some nice magnetic storms. So I'll have a couple safe ways out there for us to take a look at the sun as it's setting. I've also got some things I like to bring with. I've got a model of the solar system to scale, and so we can do some of that. So I'll be there chatting, maybe some meteorites. And it'll start at 7 p.m. at the Nature Center there. The sun sets about 8. Saturn rises in the east at about 8. Mm-hmm. So we should be able to see Saturn by about 8:30 at the latest. Nice. And I'll be there till 10 o'clock. Jupiter rises at 9:30 or so. Okay. And then we'll be looking at some other dark sky objects. The Hercules star cluster is one of my favorites. That's up and looking good right now. We'll do some constellation talks. Cool. And just have a nice time outside and under a dark sky.
Right. So you said a couple things there that sparked some questions in my mind. So what am I seeing lately? Super bright right after, a little bit after sunset, rising in the eastern skies.
That's definitely Saturn.
That's Saturn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So right about when the sun sets, you're seeing Saturn. And if you take a nice pair of binoculars, if you've got a good set of birding binoculars or something like that, you've probably got a pair of binoculars that are better than what Galileo had, and he was the one that saw the rings around Saturn. And so you can see it. Some kids will say it looks like an alien saucer, right?
Because it's kind of
it's kind of got ears sticking out of the side of it, but it looks very nice. So definitely take some binoculars and just head out there.
Nice.
As long as you're not looking at the sun, you can always take a nice pair of binoculars out and just point it at whatever you look at and go, oh, well, what is that?
Because that's when we're seeing Saturn like that, that's the sun's light reflected off of it,
right?
Yeah,
absolutely. So, and Saturn, I don't know exactly how far away it is from the Earth right now, but it's 10 times farther from the sun than the Earth is. So I always tell people it's 1 billion miles away. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'll give you all my spoilers now for Saturday, but you can line up about 20 Earths from one side of the ring to the other. So as you're looking at it, keep that in mind that 20 of our planets will fit from one side of the rings to the other. It's pretty amazing.
That is. Wow. Cool.
Yeah.
I kept wondering that lately, and then I was like, oh, I'm going to have her on today. I'm going to ask her that, because I keep seeing, I'm like, what is that? I didn't know if it was something just in our orbit,
Yep.
That's reflected because it's so
not
bright
moving,
lately. Yeah.
So a lot of times you might see some satellites, especially at sunset, that are pretty bright.
Mm-hmm.
I checked this morning, but the International Space Station is going over our area at about 3 a.m, so we won't be able to check that out. But when it goes over, you can see it, and it's very bright.
Very bright.
It would be brighter than Saturn even.
Really?
But it would be moving against
But
the
it
background
moves against-
stars
right,
because it's
right.
in orbit around us.
Yeah.
So.
And that passes over around 3?
Like 3 a.m. If you go, there's a great website called Heavens Above.
Okay.
So I think there's a dash between heavens and above.com.
Okay.
But if you just type in heavensabove.com, and then it'll ask you to put in your location.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure there's an app for your phone, it'll just know. And then it'll tell you when is the International Space Station going over in the next 10 days.
Cool.
And when can you see it? And I was like, oh, it's going over on the 29th. Oh, it's 3:42 in the morning or whatever time it was. I was like, I am not going to do that.
Well, I was just thinking, I had a hard time sleeping last night, and I woke up in the middle of the night. I should have walked outside.
Walk outside, check it out, see what's going
Next
on
time
up there.
I'm going to do that. So, good idea to bring binoculars, right?
Yeah.
Since it's in the state park over there in Wisconsin, do people need like a park sticker? Or
You do need a Wisconsin park sticker or a daily pass to get in for the day.
Okay.
But other than that, it's free.
Okay,
So.
cool. Do you know if there are people at the gate there to sell like a day pass or anything like that? Or?
I think normally there are during business hours. I'm not sure how long they would
show
stay
up early,
open.
Maybe.
You could. Merrick is a great park to just wander around and explore in. So there's some really great trails over there. Otherwise, they do that thing where, you put your $7 or whatever it is in an envelope and you leave it in a box and everything's good.
Right,
I don't really know.
Cool. Well, that sounds good. That sounds easy for people to do.
Yep.
Right
it's only
across
22
the river.
minutes away.
22 minutes. There you go. There you go. It's only about 10 minutes away by boat.
There you go.
Yeah, so if anyone's out there wants to take a nighttime boat ride,
there you go.
You can launch over by Minnesota City Boat Harbor or like, there's 2 landings, Verchota and McNally, right by Prairie Island. So real easy to get to Fountain City, and it's real quick. And that would be a beautiful ride, especially then after seeing the stars, knowing what you're looking at. That'd be cool. Now the gears are turning. We'll see what happens. But yeah, so easy to get there by boat or by car.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. And you mentioned, I know you guys had an event last week.
Yeah.
And there was a whole bunch of activities and stuff, and there was some meteor stuff. Is there anything like that going on this weekend, or?
So this weekend it's just me and my van full of telescopes.
Okay.
And whatever else I bring with me. But do stay tuned. This was the event that Bill's talking about was last Saturday, and that's at Forestville Mystery Cave State Park. And this was their second annual Dark Skies Festival. And so they're doing like a full day, noon to 10 p.m. with sun observing, night sky observing. They had build your own telescopes. They had people come from Duluth and the cities and Luther College. They give talks. They talk about astrophotography. There's a lot of stuff going on there. They did bottle rocket launches.
Whoa.
And so this is the second year they've done this, and it's really starting to build, I think, in momentum. And so I'll make sure to get you that information earlier next year.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I'm going to write a note here for myself. Next year. That sounds like fun.
It is. It's a lot of fun. So yeah, we had a good turnout this last Saturday, and it was exhausting because I left here at 9:30 in the morning and got back at about midnight.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a long day. That's a long day.
But, they're doing a really nice job with it down there. So
So what about, nothing like meteors or anything like that?
Let's see.
That are
so
scheduled
we're at
for this weekend.
Yeah, scheduled. If I could schedule a meteor shower, I certainly would.
Right.
We're at the tag end of, I think, the Perseids meteor shower. And we did see a few. If you just kind of hang out and are paying attention, you'll see a few.
Right.
So we'll do that. we'll just spend some time looking up and see what there is that pops up. There's lots of satellites and stuff, so that's kind of fun to check out the satellites as they're moving around.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be really nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that SpaceX stuff kind of freaked me out the first time I saw it because I didn't know about
the Starlink satellites.
The Starlink stuff.
That would be very concerning if you didn't know about it.
I was out on the river on a pontoon boat with my girlfriend and another couple, and none of us had any idea. And we're heading back home, and it's dark, and we're just kind of putt-putting along, and all of a sudden we were like, what is going on?
Yeah, a whole line of satellites heading over at the same time on the same trajectory. Yeah. I did look those up on heavensabove.com this morning, and we don't have any of those visible.
Nothing's passed nowhere. Okay.
This next weekend either, but yeah, they're showing up. So
right. Interesting stuff, and it's kind of freaky to see that, if you don't know. Do you guys have any other events that you're sponsoring coming up after this?
I'd love to. Give me a few minutes to talk about some other stuff. We are going to be opening the observatory again this fall for the first time since 2019 because of the pandemic. Mm-hmm. I don't have the calendar ready for that, but it'll be Thursday evenings, and I will make sure to get you a copy of that.
Yeah.
And it won't be every Thursday. I'm thinking of doing two events in September, 2 in October, 1 in November, and probably 1 the last week of classes, which will hit, I think, December 1st.
Okay.
But I got to put that together yet and look at the moon phases and figure out what Thursdays might make the most sense.
Yeah.
So that'll be exciting to be open on the roof. And one of the things I'm really excited to see is that there's been a lot of projects in terms of energy efficiency. So the new solar panels on campus, and they've replaced all of the exterior lighting fixtures. And they've done full cutoff, so we should have darker skies above Winona State this fall, which is going to be fantastic.
So at night they'll shut down the lights?
They don't shut them down, but they're, instead of just having light being able to move upward into the sky, they're full cutoff, which means that they're fully shielded and the light is all directed downward, which saves a ton of money. Because if you've got, if we're on the roof of Monet and there's light getting to us from the lights on campus, then that's just wasted energy. It's going into space. It's not illuminating what it needs to be, and it's polluting our night sky. So I'm excited to see all the exciting changes that have happened on campus this last year. I really want to put a shout out to facilities and all the people who made that happen, because not only is it going to be more energy efficient and more sustainable for our university, but it's going to make our night sky look darker. So that's very exciting to me.
Cool.
And so I'll put a little plug out for that.
I was going to ask you, you mentioned paying attention to the phases of the moon. Is that because of the light? Like,
well,
darker sky,
for example, you don't want to look at the full moon for a couple reasons through a telescope. One, it's really bright, right? And so you can actually kind of blind yourself for a few moments if you look through a telescope or even through a pair of binoculars at a full moon. So it's not as damaging to your eyes as the sun is. It only lasts a little bit, but it actually will physically kind of hurt your head to try and look at the moon. And then the thing is, you're lighting the moon straight on, and so you're not seeing the shadows, and the shadows are really what makes the moon look super spectacular. It looks very flat during a full moon. And so ideally you want to look at the moon when it's probably a week or so after new moon, and actually Saturday night will be new moon. So at the event at Merrick, we won't be seeing the moon at all. It'll be right next to the sun. But about a week after new moon, so right around first quarter, that's ideal because you've got lots of long shadows on the moon. You really see those mountains and craters pop out. It just looks beautiful, and it's not so bright that it's not overwhelming your eyes yet. So I like to choose, as I'm thinking about 2 events each month, I'm thinking one where we're going to be able to see the moon, and then another reason why you don't want to observe during a full moon is that it is a source of light pollution, and so everything else looks fainter. So I'm going to try and choose times when we've got a good moon one month and then no moon the next time, so that we get some nice dark skies. So So yeah, I'm just trying to think a little bit more clearly about how to set that up so we've got some good success.
Right.
And as long as the weather cooperates, I'm hoping.
Yeah. Clouds. That's
I know, right?
Kind of
That's
the enemy, right?
Come on.
What other what are the best times to observe the night sky? Like if people can't make it this Saturday, I think people should try to make it. But if they can't and they just want to go out and look, like what would I do? I live right here in town.
Yep.
Should I leave town? Should I jump up on the roof? Or
So, one thing, I was talking to the people on last Saturday at the Dark Sky Festival at Forestville who were talking about light pollution, and they gave me a really scary statistic, which is that 90% of the children in the country can't see the Milky Way galaxy from where they are because of light pollution.
Right.
Light pollution is such an enormous issue across the world, but in our country in particular. And that's just terrible to me. I'm like, what? You should be able to walk out. And so, at Merrick, we're going to be able to see the Milky Way galaxy. I'll be able to show it to you, but you do have to kind of find darker skies. Winona isn't that bad. There are actually places in town where you can go and see the Milky Way galaxy from within town.
Okay.
So we have a pretty good dark sky, just even if you're here. So if it's clear, head on out anywhere.
Okay.
The more of the sky you can see, the better. But then, you don't have to drive very far at all. You drive up to the edge of the bluffs and you look away from the cities and it's perfect. I've been out to, along the Levee Road out to Prairie Island and you've got a great sky there.
Yeah.
And I've parked on the side of the road there and you just kind of enjoy the night sky.
Oh, cool.
So any time is great, in my opinion, as long as it's not cloudy or raining.
Right.
And then just be careful, if you do park along the side of a road, of course, you definitely want to be safe because people can't see you. So, if you can, you really don't have to go far.
Right.
So just kind of explore. I like to drive over the hill to Stockton and then just pull off into the farm fields and hang out there and look. So we're really lucky here in Winona that we don't have to drive. It's not like we live in the cities where you have to drive for 40 minutes before you're going to find some decent skies.
Oof. Yeah, I wouldn't like that. Well, it sounds like we live in a great place for this then.
We do. We live in a really, as a geologist, we live in the driftless area. It's great geology around here. It's great. We have like 5 state parks within a half hour or 40 minutes. And the skies are nice too, so just take the time to look up.
Right. Yeah, look up.
Look up. Stop looking down at your phones, everybody.
Yeah.
Look up at the sky.
For sure. I know I kind of interjected with you there. Are there more events coming up?
The only other thing I wanted to bring up is that NASA is launching Artemis 1, the first moon mission, with a crew. It is an uncrewed mission this time, but Artemis 1 is go for launch on Monday, August 29th at about 7:30 a.m. here in Minnesota.
Oh, cool.
Now, this is the launch of the largest rocket we have built since the Saturn V. This is the Space Launch System SLS rocket and the Orion spacecraft, which is a 4-person spacecraft. So this is the first launch to test the spacecraft and the rocket. So there's no humans on board, but it will launch into Earth orbit. It'll then send the Orion spacecraft to the moon. It'll orbit around the moon. I think it's a 42-day mission total.
Okay.
They're going to test everything with this spacecraft. They're going to push it because, of course, the next mission might have humans on it, right?
Cool.
And so then they'll actually return the Orion spacecraft and it'll land sometime in October.
Okay.
And so the first launch window is this coming Monday at 7:33 a.m. Central Time. So fingers crossed for our first return to the moon mission.
Right.
And by 2025, they're expecting to have humans on the moon.
Oh, wow. Cool.
So
I was not aware
pay
of that.
attention Monday.
So we'll be able to see that launch Monday then?
It'll be on, I'm
orbit?
sure every decent news channel should be covering this, right? NASA.com, I'm sure will be covering it. We'll probably, we'll probably break the internet again. When it's in
when
orbit.
It's in orbit,
what a good
will we
question.
be able to see it? Or?
I'm going to have to go to heavensabove.com and look.
Cool.
Yeah, I believe it's going to orbit the Earth a few times before it heads out to the moon, but I'm not entirely certain. It'll take a week to reach lunar orbit, So I'm not sure if it orbits around the Earth first and then goes, or if it's just going straight
right
to the moon.
Now, it's something like that. When it is orbiting the moon, would we be able to see that with like a telescope? Or
no, it's a pretty small thing. Small. I mean, you and I are in a room that's probably twice as big as the Orion spacecraft right now.
Wow.
So you pick you and your 3 favorite buddies and put them in like, you know,
I don't have anybody.
A third of a school
favorite.
Bus, and
right.
Off you go.
Because we're in a small room right now.
Yeah.
I can't imagine.
No, there's
42
not.
days.
Every pound that you want to put into, that you want to get into Earth orbit, it's something like 3 to 4 extra pounds of fuel just to launch it off of our, to get us out of our gravitational field.
And that's why the rocket's so big then, right?
Yeah, it's the biggest rocket ever. So.
Oh, that is exciting.
So yeah, that's my last thing that I wanted to mention. Make sure you check that out.
I said you just dropped your pen like. Yep,
I know, I did.
That's it.
Mic drop.
Cool. Oh, so cool. Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to that, but we have this Saturday, this Saturday at Merrick Park. If you're excited about astronomy like we are, get out to Merrick Park, 7 p.m. officially.
7 p.m., but you can come anytime.
Yeah.
Sunset's about 8. Hopefully we'll see Saturn.
I think the sunset stuff sounds neat too,
Yeah, well, I'll have some solar scopes, so we've got some sunspots on the sun, and it's safe, right? That's the key.
Right, that's
Don't
the
look
key,
at the sun unless it's going to be safe, and I've got some safe solar scopes for us to use.
I saw a sunset the other night, and I was like, man, I wish I could like look at it, but it was so bright.
Yeah.
But yeah, so 7 to 10 p.m. you'll be there. I say go early, and check out the park and check out the sunset. That sounds really neat.
Lovely.
And then we'll look forward to hearing from you on the schedule for the observatory here and stuff. Jennifer, thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, it's always fun. Thanks so much.
Yeah, I love it. So remember, everyone, look up at night. Look away from the phone. Maybe even just put it in your pocket, turn it off. I don't know, but look up at the sky. There's all kinds of cool stuff to see. I'm looking forward to checking out Saturn too. I've been watching it every night now.
I know.
Now that I know what it is, I'm going to get out the binoculars.
There you go.
So, well, thank you so much, and we look forward to having you on again in the near future.
Sounds great. Thanks.
Thanks again to Professor Jennifer Anderson for joining us today on Culture Clique. Be sure to check out Astronomy in the Parks this Saturday evening at Merrick State Park at 7 p.m. To find out more about astronomy at Winona State University, check out WSU Stars and Planets on Facebook. To keep up on all things Winona and the surrounding area, tune in to Culture Clique Thursdays at 12:30 right here on 89.5 KQAL. I'm Bill Stoneberg, and we've just heard from Jennifer Anderson, Professor of Geoscience on Culture Clique.
Creating cultural awareness and understanding. You've been listening to Culture Clique. Support for Culture Clique is made possible by the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund. Culture Clique is produced by KQAL FM on the campus of Winona State University. For more information, look us up on the web at kqal.org. And thanks for listening to Culture Clique.